Well, let's have a look at geometry and the origins of religious symbols, especially Christian religion symbols. Now, compass and straight edge geometry, it's always best to start with a construction line or the center of symmetry. So we're creating symmetry. So that's also an important concept. So construction line or our center of symmetry. A straight edge, unmarked straight edge, technically you shouldn't have a marked ruler, you have a straight edge. Okay, now we're going to draw basically the fundamental of what's called sacred geometry. All geometry is sacred in that sense, and so let's just call it geometry. Sacred tends to be a loaded word and sort of will turn certain people off, but the beauty of geometry is, well, beautiful. Now, so we draw a vesica. So I'm not changing the setting of the compass. I'm going to put the point on the edge of the line. And if I do this correctly, you'll even feel the lump as the pen goes over the whole of the first circle. So now we have the Vesica Piscis or the Vesica Piscis, which translates to the vessel of the fish or the bladder of the fish. But basically, what's a vessel? What is a bladder? It's a container, and now we're containing the fish, if you want to put it in those terms. Another name for it is the ichthys, which was the original Christian symbol, but which is a fish. Still, fish is very much 153 fishes in the net, for example. But why is it a fish? Well, you know, if you can't imagine it, you can also just with a few little details, and we see the fish emerging. So that's why this is the ichthys, or the vessel of the fish. This was the original Christian symbol. So, and then it was later replaced by the Christian cross. However, the Christian cross, which in itself is a very important geometric thing, actually is hidden in here. And as an example, so we'll go to the next page. Okay, but before I go to the next page, you're probably familiar with these basic drawing tools. These in themselves are very important. For instance, Pythagorean theorem, 1 square root of 2, 1 2 square root of 3. So mathematics and arithmetic, very important. Also to the Freemasons. So for instance, contemplate on Euclid's 47th. What's Euclid's 47th? Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus, I hope that's in, B squared equals C squared. That's one of the fundamentals of geometry in construction, engineering, basically the whole world in regards to geometry. So we have the fish, the ichthys, the original Christian symbol, later replaced by the cross. But the cross in itself is contained within the vesica. So I'll start again fresh on the next page. You'll even see it sort of transferred through there. Just so I don't confuse it anyway, let's start with a clean page. Again, the axis of the center of symmetry or a construction line, however you want to call it. Straight edge, and now with the compass. Now first I'm going to create, I've done another video so you can draw perfect phi, perfect pentagram emerges from this very important symbol. So first we start with a smaller circle, and now we're going to adjust the compass to the diameter of that circle. Now I'm going to put a link in the description to sorry, I need to do this accurate. Okay, I'm going to put a link in the description to a very cool, very important video regarding the Celtic Cross and how it's has a very important meaning in regards to navigation. So please watch that in the link, because these religious symbols are actually geometric navigation symbols at the heart. The superficial level is religious, the deeper level is scientific. So now we have our 2 points. We're just going to draw a line through there. Best way to do it is to put your pencil or pen marking tool, whatever you want to use, on that point, and then use the marker. So we had originally the ichthys, the vessel of the fish, being our earliest Christian symbol, 153 fishes. In whole number properties, from here to here is 265, and from there to there is 153, which is the best whole number. 153, 265 over 153 equals the square root of 3, which is the best whole number description of that. And we have that here. So this again, we draw. Okay, so what we have, if this is 1, then this will be 2, and this will be the square root of 3. These are chosen for very important reasons. It's not just sort of random thing. We have these, they're very, very important. Now, for instance, on the same one, we have 1, 1, and the square root of 2. Incommensurate numbers, or now these are just like phi, they're well, okay, that's a whole other thing. So if you're not in a bit of a math nut, we won't go into that for now. We go back to our vesica, the vessel of the fish. Sorry, it's on the next page. Now, what do you see there? You see the eye. This is another important little point. This is the eye. This is also a very, it's a Christian symbol, and I'll use, okay, I don't want to ruin the page for me, so I'm going to take this away. We have the fish, for instance, the fish, and we have the eye as well. Now, where do we get the Christian cross from? And there it is. The Christian cross, or the Celtic cross, is a geometric tool. And by that I mean we have our 45, 45, 90 degree. And we have our 30, 60, 90 degree tool. Compass and straight edge, hidden in plain sight. I'll put a link to the video, because if the Celtic cross is based, so we have our Christian cross, and the Celtic cross has this circle in there. Now the circle could be larger, but it's actually a tool of navigation, which in itself, all these symbols, which are so often called, you know, in a symbolic religious sense, are actually containing very important mathematical, arithmetic, occult knowledge, and they are all hidden in plain sight. So anyway, please watch the video in the description, because it links to some important stuff. Yeah, like a lot of this thing. Okay, one more little point. Now, there are a lot of gifs and pretty images and stuff out there in regards to the seed of life, and they tend to be very, well, pretty. But what they are is actually compass and straight edge stuff, and they lead to some important points. But okay, so we have the vesica. Well, let's do a seed of life. So we have one circle. We don't change the compass setting. Another circle. Where these two circles meet, we draw another. I'm going to rush it, so it might, now technically it will officially, you know, 100% truth, this will turn out perfect. Now I'm sort of rushing it a little bit, but what we're going to have is the seed of life. And again, I'll post a picture of some of the pretty gifs, which try and basically they're mystifying something which is very simple, very beautiful, very easy to do with your compass. And there we have the seed of life, as it's called. A lot of this stuff, you know, they're mystifying it, religionizing it, and making something which is very beautiful, very simple, very important. They're turning it into a bunch of hocus pocus. the actual beauty, the actual magic of it is in the geometry. And so we have a hexagon, and we also have this rhombus. Now, if I do a smaller vesica, I'll do this quickly without a straight edge, so there we have a vesica, which is the basic unit to begin all this type of geometry. And so we have our two centers, and we have our rhombus in the heart. Now that's that shape there. Three of these make a hexagon. So for instance, we have another rhombus here, and we have another one of these rhombuses here. And again, to preserve my paper, I'll rip this out. And in that rhombus, which we have the hexagon, we also have the 2D representation of the cube. One of the beautiful things about this particular rhombus is that the inside angle is 120 degrees, the outside angle is 240 degrees. This is 60 and that is 300. And I'll put up a graphic just to explain that, because from here we have the dimensions of Sun, Earth and Moon, platonic solids, arithmetic, music, basically all the knowledge emerges here from the vesica. And again, there's so much fluff out there in regards to this, and it's actually, in my opinion, it's shameful that they do these pretty gifts and do all this, kumbaya type of stuff with it. The beauty, the magic of it emerges from the pure geometry of it. Geometry is key, it's fundamental, and these angles themselves. So again, I'll put up some graphics and some descriptions of it. So, okay, I'll probably get out again anyway. Again, compass and straight edge. Herein lies the magic. The 360-degree compass, which is going back to Babylonian, base 60 maths. The ancient knowledge is some very simple. It's not this sort of this again kumbaya, blah blah blah, mystic stuff. The magic itself is in the beauty and the balance of the geometry itself. Yeah, sorry. So the beauty of it all here is in the geometry. It's very simple, compass and straight edge. From there we have the Pythagorean harmonies, perfection between various systems of weights and measure. And again, all I can say is it's very simple, it's very beautiful, it's geometry. All these fancy gifts and pretty images are basically mystifying something and taking away from the beauty of it all. So please watch the link in the description in regards to the Celtic Cross and how it's a very important navigation tool. It all emerges from these ancient religious symbols such as the cross or the ichthys and the fish, or in itself the eye, and there it is. Hope you enjoyed and have a good one.